Did you do all the right things? Went to college, got a degree, maybe even multiple degrees, got that perfect job, and yet still feel stuck? Almost like you're a hamster in a financial wheel, and no matter how much harder you work and longer hours you put in, you're not where you want to be financially and truly not living the life you desire. In this video, I'll show you the exact mindset and belief shifts that completely transformed my financial position, even my identity, and enabled me to triple my income in 90 days. I'm Nick with Potential Redeemed, and I help this generation, specifically working professional millennials, get unstuck from the money beliefs and lies keeping you trapped, help you build real wealth in this generation, and build a life you never want to retire from. In this video, we're going to talk about things they didn't teach us in school. The exact mindset and belief shifts that actually move the needle can ramp up your income in a short amount of time and get you on the fast track to living the life you desire. If this is content that is valuable to you or you got something from this video, please like and subscribe below. Let's get into it. So we're going to talk about the 4 things that really moved the needle and enabled me to triple my income in 90 days. The first thing was learning how to bet on myself. You are your number one asset. What that means is we get so stuck in the mindset of having an employer, trading our time for money, or ultimately we forget that we take responsibility for our own family and our own financial well-being at the end of the day. I got to the point where I was just tired of relying on an employer or other people to be responsible for my income. So I made a personal choice to bet on myself, knowing that, hey, the worst thing that could possibly happen is I go back to doing right what I was doing, comfortable, status quo, but not necessarily where I wanted to be or living the dream life I wanted to be living. The second aspect that really moved the needle, enabled me to triple my income in 90 days and completely change my identity was creating a vision for what I wanted for me and my family and what I wanted our life to look like. Here's the thing. All day long, people on the internet talk about discipline, motivation. Discipline, motivation are needed, but having a vision trumps motivation every single day of the week. And the reason why is because at the end of the day, a vision is something that you create that's bigger than you. So it doesn't just benefit you, it benefits those around you, your family, and ultimately future generations. So what I had to do, even though I was in a place where I didn't necessarily want to be financially, I had to grow. I knew there had to be change. I had to create a vision of what that life would look like. And I put that vision in the forefront of my mind at all times, every single day when I was making these changes day in, day out that actually moved the needle. Because on hard days, on days when you don't feel like doing the right things, that's when vision can help you overcome and break through those walls that are keeping you stuck. If any of these things are hitting home for you or found any kind of value from this video, I have a link below that goes through the 4 money lies that we've been taught, the 4 truths about money, and the 4 investments for this generation that are going to change your family's position. The third thing for me that really moved the needle, and honestly, this is one of the most important mindset and belief shifts you can make to better yourself financially, is removing the lies we believe about money and upgrading your beliefs with the truth about money and how to make it. And what I mean by that is we're taught like, oh, stay away from get rich quick schemes, things like that. But ultimately, what you'll find is that it's actually easier to make a lot of money in a short amount of time than it is to make a little bit amount of money over a long period of time. And I credit Myron Golden, he's an excellent business coach, to this. He talks about the 4 levels of value. So one of the biggest lies about money that I believe was that, well, I just have to work harder, put in more time, right? Grind, hustle, all those things. But the reality is those didn't actually make any meaningful changes for me. All they did was make me more exhausted. So I came home from my family. And then after taxes, I looked at my paycheck and it still wasn't really where I ultimately wanted to be. So something had to change. So what I realized and learned, and again, credit to Myron Golden on this, there's 4 levels of value, meaning when we talk about ways to make money, we're only taught one way in school from the time we're in kindergarten all the way through we graduate college. And that is essentially our time or some form of our time is tied to the way we earn an income. There's actually 4 different ways people make a living. The first one is implementation, meaning you're using your muscles and your physical abilities to earn a living. So this could be anything from on the low end, you're flipping burgers at McDonald's, making minimum wage, or you could be a plumber or a mechanic and maybe making 80, 90K a year if you're really good at what you do. The second level is the management level to where, okay, you're good at leading people, managing people. So on the low end of that level, you might be making $40,000, $50,000 if you're a manager at Taco Bell or McDonald's, Or if you're a mid-level manager for a big company like GE, you're comfortable, maybe even work from home, but you're still tied to managing people, which means it's taking your time, you're answering phone calls after hours, and you really don't have the freedom you enjoy. So both of these first two levels also cap your income, because at the end of the day, there's only so many hours in a day. So your time or your ability to earn an income is limited ultimately by your time. So the first two levels are what we're pretty much taught and pigeonholed into from school. But the next two is where really the needle moves. So the third level is communication. And this is that barrier where you can break through and really start earning an income that will make a difference for you, your family, and future generations. So communication, meaning you use your words and to motivate, persuade, and ultimately change people's lives. So with that, in communication, there's quite a different things you can do. You could be an author, motivational speaker, public speaker. You think of like movie stars changing people's emotions in movies, or singer songwriters motivating people or allowing people to dream. But one aspect also communication is sales. And that is what I did. I transitioned from being an electrician in the field into a sales role with the startup company that I was at the time. And that is what drastically moved the needle for me. So I had to learn communication skills and learn how to interact with people. And at the end of the day, the whole goal was building value and solving their problems. When you can solve somebody's problem, they're willing and able to pay you whatever you desire because they want that result. So that's where communication on the low end, say like a car salesman or maybe even a average run-of-the-mill insurance salesman, you're making about 100K a year, six figures. On the high end, you can be making $500,000 a year, or if you're an author or a speaker or an actor, you're making probably millions of dollars a year, right? So whole lot more potential. And the amazing thing about communication is it's not necessarily tied to your time, meaning you could have a 1 hour conversation with somebody and solve their problem, and they pay you what that is worth to them, which is exponentially more than what you could ever make, tying your ability to make an income to your time. The fourth level of value is Myron describes creativity or imagination, meaning this is the level that billionaires play in, meaning people that solve bigger problems and create immense value. Think Steve Jobs, think Jeff Bezos, solving Elon Musk, even solving big problems that the world and society desires and craves. But what they do is use their imagination, creativity to invent things or new processes, and are able to build a team around them that basically makes this happen. And the income level there is literally unlimited, uncapped. So when you can take yourself from these first two levels, implementation, management, and move into communicating and even using your creativity to build an income, that's where you'll find quantum leaps in your ability to be where you want to be financially. This is exactly what I did. So to triple my income in 90 days, I went from a field electrician, wiring up homes, doing repairs day in and day out, to selling electrical services. So I would go in, diagnose problems with people's homes, provide them options that they could do for their house to fix the problem. And what I found was literally within 90 days, I was able to triple my income, but it wasn't easy at first. And so what I needed, and this is the fourth thing we'll get into today, the fourth overall mindset and belief that changed the needle, was I had to invest in myself. And what I mean by that is when I first started selling, I was terrible. I was averaging like $20,000 to $25,000 sold a month, which was, we weren't going to stay in business if that was the case. So I was basically an entrepreneur at this company where it was me, the owners, one other electrician, and the owners are not electricians. And when we first opened, we had 0 calls scheduled. So it was a risk I took because I knew that if we could grow this company, it was going to change my family's life and prosper us greatly. So when I came on board, started in the field, got into electrical sales role. But what happened is I was forced very quickly, after getting no's day in and day out and really getting my teeth kicked in, basically, was I had to change. So what I did is I invested in myself. And this is why investing in yourself is one of the biggest ROIs, because not only does it increase your income, but it changes your identity. It changes you, because you start to realize you're capable of so much more than what you think. And when you push yourself in that growth, we talk about growing pains. It's uncomfortable at first, but the other side of that growth is opportunity like you can never imagine. So what did it look like to invest in myself? What I did was got around people that I knew, mentors that could coach me and teach me things. I paid for coaching, paid for books, I basically became obsessed, and through focus, consistency, and intensity, basically poured every moment I was awake, where I wasn't in the work truck running calls. In between calls, I was driving or out mowing my lawn on my property, or when the kids would go to bed, I'd stay up and just completely immerse myself in sales training material, audio trainings, podcasts, everything I could get my hands on. And not only was I just listening, but I was implementing. So every time I would go back into a home the next day, I would use these techniques and these communication skills and word choices I learned, and the results were literally almost instantaneous. I went tripling my income in 90 days. And then by developing another sales process for our company, was able to even double that income 60 days later. So it's absolutely seemed unbelievable to me at the time and impossible. But that's why it changed my identity, because it really made me realize that you're capable of way more than you can imagine. And if you feel pigeonholed and stuck and maybe not following your calling, working a job that just drains you, even though you might even have a good salary, it might be time for you to start investing in yourself and getting from those first two levels of value into levels 3 and 4 to really move the needle for you and your family. So I'll wrap up today. So again, the 4 things that really moved the needle for me was making a decision to bet on myself and take responsibility for my financial position. The second was creating a vision beyond where I was currently at, what I was currently capable of for me and my family, of where we wanted to be and what our dream life would look like. The third was deleting and crushing the false beliefs I had about how to make money, and really taking to heart those 4 levels of value and starting to jump my way into the levels, the top 2, that really move the needle financially, where you can exponentially increase your income in a shorter span of time. And the last thing, of course, is investing in myself. That was the biggest thing. I continue to invest in myself today. When I went from being an entrepreneur and now as an entrepreneur with Potential Redeem, coaching and teaching financial mindset, this is one of the biggest skill sets I still every day. I have mentors, I have coaches, I'm investing in myself daily. And these are the things that continue to move the needle for me and my family, but also hopefully will benefit you as you watch these videos. Thank you for watching today, and tune into the next one. We'll see ya.